Hey y'all, it's your girl Millie Chun and Ebony, the Fly on Cooks. We are here with another installation of love and relationships. So today we have a couple here, um, Duran and Deborah Montgomery, and they have been married 30 years. And next week we found out they would be married for 31. So congratulations! Yay! Happy early anniversary.
Thank you.
So first of all, we have to say this because I found out on social media. Happy belated birthday, Deborah.
Thank you.
So, how was your day? How
It,
how did
it was
your husband of
wonderful.
30 years celebrate you on your special holiday?
Um, he celebrated. He celebrated nicely. We were happy. I was happy. No drama. He allowed me to relax. So
Oh,
that was
that's
great.
good.
I had a great birthday.
We had a good weekend.
That's good. That's excellent.
Yeah.
So, we're just gonna jump right into it. So, to be married 30 years, like how how old were you all? Like y'all met at a young age, huh? You had
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
I was 21, she was 19.
Oh wow. Were you ready to be a wife, Deborah, at 19?
In my mind, I thought I was. Because what right before I met Deron, I had already said I was tired of dating at 19. It doesn't sound crazy. I was tired of dating. And I said, I'm gonna find that person and that's it. That's gonna be my husband. And I just said it out loud. I just spoke it out loud. Didn't realize that, oh no, it's gonna happen. And I said that like in July, right
Mm-hmm.
before I met Deron, and just said it out loud. You know what? This is it. I'm tired of dating. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired.
But at 19,
At 19,
Them dudes in Mississippi will do it to you, boy.
don't
at
do that.
19, I said that. I was like, I'm tired of dating. I don't want to. I'm tired of just dating this person, dating that person. I was tired. So and at 19, I was tired.
But you couldn't have dated. Like that's a lot of more dating to do. But okay, but what about you, Duran? At 21? At 21, were you ready?
No. Um, and just things that we're talking about now, we've talked about before. So anybody out there thinking like, oh,
Okay.
this is a story that she's heard plenty of times over the
Right.
last 30 years. So at 21, I had been in the Navy like 2 years. I was in the service. I was in the Navy for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never, that was a different dynamic for me. And so I was not able to differentiate between being lonely and being alone. I was never
Mm.
alone because I'm on a ship with 1,100 other sailors, 80 of them in the same compartment with me, but I was experiencing a level of loneliness I had never experienced. So when I met Deborah, we just kind of clicked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, man, and even though we clicked, marriage wasn't on my mind, but it was on hers.
Clearly.
And and
19.
it's like a whole story. I mean, do you want to tell the story?
I'll let you tell it.
Okay, so we we met, we exchanged numbers. I called her like 2 days later. I felt like she was giving me the runaround because she kept, oh, give me a call back. I gotta go do this. Give me a call back. But when we talked till like 2:30 in the morning.
Mm.
And
Oh wow. Those
during
are
that
good.
I had duty the next day. So, but during that conversation, it came up. It was like, man, we really vibe. Like maybe we should get married. And I was like, yeah, all right, whatever.
Wait, pause. Who said that?
Deborah said that. Deborah said that we should get married. We get along great. I think that I thought our conversation was great. A lot of things that we had in common
Mm-hmm.
were in line. A lot of things that we wanted to do were in line. I said, you know what, you're gonna be my husband.
And so, like, let me just say this. We don't advocate people going this route
No.
because this is definitely a blessing to be together this long.
It is.
But it's just like that. So when she said it, I didn't even take her seriously, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, all right, whatever.
Keep in mind, we met on a Sunday. He didn't call me till Tuesday.
Right. And then I had duty Wednesday. And so she was like, so I was like, I got duty. I like, maybe I come over there Thursday, whatever. I got over there. This girl had like a whole list of names to invite to the wedding, color scheme. I was like, oh, you, and these were my exact words. I said, oh, you serious?
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, and this is like a real story. So like, you can't, this is better than fiction, right? So a hurricane came through. And so we had to pull out. They had to evacuate the town. So, and I told her, because my captain was like, if the pier gets messed up, we're not coming back. We're going back straight back to San Diego. So I told her, I said, if I have to, I'll just send for you, come to San Diego. We'll see what happens. Now, while we're out on the water, following this damn hurricane, I'm actually worried about her, concerned about her safety and well-being. And I had never, I'm being totally honest with you, at night, like, growing up south side of Chicago, other than my mama, I didn't really care about too many other people outside of my family. So I'm sitting there like worried about her. Like, the fuck is this? So when we pulled back in and she came, I called her, I said, we're back. She said, I'm gonna come down there and get you. She came, picked me up, and we headed back to her house. And I'm kind of like staring out the window because I'm zoning a little bit. And she says to me, she says, you don't really want to marry me, do you?
Oh,
and
no.
I said, no, actually at this moment, because of whatever was going on, right?
Right.
Now, fast forward, I can't speak for her, but we were married, 3 or 4 months before the words, and I'm not saying this out of a sense of pride or anything like that, but we were married about 3 or 4 months before I ever even told her I loved her.
Well, do you think that it was because of how you all had come together? Because
Deron had never told anybody that he loved them. And I'm talking about myself in third person.
Third person, yeah.
On purpose, right?
Because
but I had never told anyone I loved them up to that point. Like, I pulled the ghost move. Like, girls like, coming up in high school, whatever, girls be like, oh, I love you. And I'd be like, yeah, ditto, me too.
Because I know, like, when I got married, and it was a whirlwind, and I knew I could like him, and I knew I liked him, and I knew I could love him. But at that time, I was not just like the way you're supposed to be in love to love someone. It came, not 3 months, but it came, and so I understand that. Deborah, did you feel the same way, or were you madly in love?
Come on, man. This is me. Of course she was in
not
love.
madly in love.
I'm talking to Deborah.
No, I was
Stop
not. No, I was not. Keep in mind, we met and married in 3.5 weeks. So we met August 16th. He came to my home for the first time on my birthday, August 20th. And then we married September 9th. I'm sorry, September
Look at
3rd.
you.
September
We say y'all
3rd.
been married 31 years. It's okay.
I think I can
If you
forget
miss
the
a
3rd.
second, it's
I
okay.
think it's okay.
It's
But
okay now.
September 3rd is when we married. So during that time, I'm just fascinated, that, oh, wow, this is going to happen. Keep in mind, we had never touched, had never had sex. We had never even kissed. We hadn't kissed out until we actually got married on that day. So nothing had happened. So it wasn't that I was like, oh my God, I can't wait. No, it wasn't that either. And neither one of us were virgins. We were not, but we, we were not, it was not happening. It was not happening.
Okay, I think Ebony wants to say something.
So I have a question. So from what I heard is that Deborah, in a sense, you manifested your husband.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You manifested your husband because you gave life to what you wanted by speaking it out into the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest is basically history, because Deron mentioned that he never told anyone he loved them before. He wasn't really the settling down talk at that time. So it's like you guys, when you guys met, it's like it was meant to be that way. So tell me, Deron, what was it about Deborah that you were like, okay, she's talking marriage, we're getting along, we're vibing, I'm gonna roll with this? What made you decide to do that?
Again, initially I didn't take her serious. The whole hurricane situation, I don't know, I guess it was the trauma, the drama behind it or whatever. But the fact that I found myself caring about somebody, which I was very self-centered, right? I was a very self-centered individual. And I knew this. And until I met Deborah, my longest relationship was like 2 years. At the 2-year point, if you lasted 2 years, I would find a reason for you to start getting on my nerve.
Oh,
So,
we talked about that with the single situation.
Yeah. So
A little
I
bit.
mean, and don't get me wrong, because even though I wasn't into marriage like that, I was never a man who thought that, like, all these long-term engagements. I was like, I firmly believe that it doesn't take long for a man to to realize that he either wants to marry you or he wants to get rid of you. After a few, let's just say for the typical dude, after a few months, the rest of the relationship is either I want to figure out how to marry her, or I need to figure out how to get the hell out of here, or I'm content. So I'm just gonna sit here unless something better come along.
Okay.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because in a previous episode that we did, the single Joseph B that came on, he spoke about how men will categorize women.
Right.
If she's wifey material, if she's somebody they're just gonna, or
if they want to be a friend, if it's just gonna be
right.
a friend.
And keep it real. I got fortunate with Deborah, right? Because I didn't know what I was getting.
Sweet.
I didn't know what I was getting, and she didn't know what she was getting with me.
Did I know?
Right? I could have been getting somebody who basically would have been. Let me give you an example of, because Deborah and I talk about, and I say, man, if anything happened between me and Deborah, she makes it hard for the next person to come in that will come along, because I hear women talk a lot about wanting a man to take care of them. When my youngest son was born, she was a nurse working in pediatrics at the time. And so she was making decent money. And hell, she was making more money than I was at the time. And I was working at Chase Bank. And she came to me, she was like, I'm tired of dropping my kids off at daycare, and I really want to take care of my own kids. I said, okay. I said, give them your 2 weeks and we'll figure it out.
Oh, wow.
I was putting in so many hours. I mean, she saw me basically, I was putting in so many hours, I ended up having a car accident coming home one day because I was so tired. But she saw me doing all this, and she was like, you know what? She just came to me one day. She was like, I'm getting ready to start a daycare. Like, what? Okay. She went and got certified. So she's one of those, she's like, I can't sit on my ass and watch you struggle.
Okay, this leads up to my next question, because I had written this down. And it's like, how people say, I'm not a mind reader. You have to let me know what's going on, blah, blah, blah. At this point in the game, can you, like she saw you working like that. Deborah saw you. And I understand that, Deborah, because if you're with someone, you know something at some point. I don't know how far along y'all were in your marriage, but you had to be far along enough that you just kind of knew him a little bit, right?
About 5 or 6 years.
Okay. So at that point, you are like noticing, okay, he has told me I could do this. Now I see, have y'all come to a point where you kind of just have telepathy? You can kind of just read each other's mind. You can go off of an energy.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely with almost 31 years of marriage.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? And I heard you on one of these. I don't know if it was the last one or the first one, but the subject of growth came up.
Of what?
Right? Of growth, change,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if we're evolving,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
then because I'm quick to throw a monkey wrench in the game, right? So if we're evolving as two individuals in a relationship, then the communication has to be there for, hey, look, this is what I'm thinking. Hey, this is what I think we should do. This is what, because the minute you start thinking that you're a mind reader on either side of the game, you're gonna lose.
Okay, that's fair.
But,
So,
but you got to have the communication. See, and I'm speaking from a man, like I'm a communicator, but most men aren't.
okay.
I'm a communicator, and one of the best things, and I tell this to any couple, and especially a black couple and a black man, I'm an advocate of therapy, and we had therapy, and that was one of the best things that probably could happen.
Well, let me ask you this: like, to be so young and to just be so young and like really jumping into marriage, what types of growing pains did you have, and how did you all work through that?
Our biggest growing pain was actually when we first got married, and we were no, when we first came here to Chicago. When we first got to Chicago, that was our.
What
we
year in
said,
the marriage was
I said we're not in Chicago no more. We're in Texas.
this was.
She said, what
90
year was this?
This was 95.
No,
So
94 when we first got
so year 2 for us.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Our first 2 years, it was just he and I. It was
Okay.
nobody else. It was just he and I out in California. No family, no friends. He had friends on the boat or whatever, but I had acquaintances, but not friends. So it was just he and I. So we counted on each other for everything. Everything was about us. And so when we came here, went to Chicago, right? I keep saying here, but when we went to Chicago, we had to relearn each other because all of his family was there. All of his friends were there. I had no one there but my father, who I was just learning. So I didn't know him either. So I was like relearning everybody all over again. Had heard of everybody but did not know them. So that was our biggest growing pain, trying to get through maneuvering this new family, these new people around me when I didn't have them.
Right. Well, speaking of family, I saw this question up from Tammy. Did anyone ever try to talk you all out of marriage?
My family actually had bets.
I'm about to say, I don't know if they tried to talk her out of it. They had bets on how long we would be married.
Yeah, they didn't talk us out of it. In fact, when I told my mom, she took it as a joke as well. I told her the same night that I said to Duran we were going to get married. She took it as a joke, and she kept watching TV. She said, "Yeah, okay," and she kept watching TV. And everybody that I told, they were like, "What? You just what?" Yeah, okay, all right. Everybody took it as a joke until it actually happened. And then once we got married, what was crazy about it is all of those naysayers who said that we wasn't going to last long, they all came and brought food. So they still celebrated us, and still, they
wanted to just show their quick support.
Right. They still, celebrated, but they celebrated on the fly. Like, okay, we're gonna see how long this lasts. So they had taken bets. They was like, we're gonna see how long she's gonna be gone. This is not gonna last long. Just no, nobody thought that we were gonna last this long.
Well, it's safe to say that they all lost.
Yeah, right.
Lost.
That's good. Y'all, if y'all had to put some money in, y'all probably be real good at this point, right?
Absolutely.
So as far as that, and that is a lot when you are married and you, especially like that, because regularly you meet, you date, you meet each other's family, you go to Christmas, you go to holidays, you go birthdays, anniversaries and stuff like that. And then there's a proposal and then there's a wedding and all that. So I can see how that would be a growing pain. How is the compromise in 30 years of marriage? Because I would have to think, I just, to speak from my personal situation, there was a lot of compromise. I was a military wife also. So that was a big compromise that I had to just leave everybody, go to a new country, figure out how to drive on the other side of the road. you know, so that was a big compromise. I feel like changing my last name is a compromise. So what did you have to do, like, over all these years? How has that changed? I mean, I'm sure you're still compromising now, but how does that look for you all in 30 years?
Well, our biggest compromise was allowing Deron to take the brunt of whatever we decide. So if we decide on a situation, we decide on an issue, we resolve that issue and said, okay, this is how we're gonna go forward. Whatever it is, if it's good, then we both take the shine. If it's bad, Deron takes that.
Well, okay.
What? Wait a minute.
Okay.
It
So hold
kind
on.
of,
Okay, so hold on.
reminds me
Okay,
of,
yeah,
Let me go ahead and
I realize y'all got,
go.
wait a minute, hold on, wait, stop, hold up, pause. I realize y'all have inside things going on, but we in the World Wide Web need to know what y'all talking about.
Okay, let me clear up what she's talking about.
Okay.
So when we were younger, when we first got into this, you know, my mother, I was
Got
talking
into this.
I can't. We're getting
we first got
into it.
married, right? So I was I remember having a conversation with my mother basically, and she was just basically talking to me about being a man and, you know, things going to be different, blah blah blah, this, that, and other. And so I remember part of the conversation, I remember saying something that I thought was real prolific to my mom, and she checked the shit out of me. Cause I was like, if Deborah make me choose between you and her, I'm choosing you. And my mom was like, you wrong.
Yeah.
She's like, that's your wife now. She's like, she's supposed to come first, blah, 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 whatever. And then she started running things down to me. So that stuck with me. One of the things that she told me was that you need to always protect her. Well, it don't matter how you feeling, you need to protect her. So if things are going good, that's y'all.
Right.
But if things are going bad, that's you. Right. So
that's a good one.
So when we
I
make
love that.
decisions, when we trying to make decisions, if we can't come to a consensus, if we can't say, okay, we agree on this, and I say, I pull that card like, okay, well, look, this is what we're gonna do.
Okay.
And she's not totally on board with that. If my decision glows up, then we both shine. But if it goes left, that was all me.
Because Ebony, you remember Joseph had said, you know, he was legally separated, right? Mm-hmm. And what I liked about his conversation is, I don't know what his wife did. I don't even know if she did anything, but he took total accountability and he said that he is the head, so it starts with him. So I'm glad to hear you say that. Ebony, do you have any questions?
I want to know, when did, besides the family, you know, dynamic of, because now you're just together, now you have to kind of share him in essence now that you've moved closer to his family. How did you occupy your time if he was going to spend time with family and you were kind of lingering about, what did you do to fulfill yourself? Because it's also important, I feel as though in marriage, you're one when you're together, but it's also important, from everything that I've been hearing, you got to be, you know, fully and whole as well when you're by yourself. So when he's like hanging out with his family, getting reacquainted, what did you do? Because you mentioned only you're newly acquainted with your father. So what did you do to cope with that?
I got reacquainted with my father. I also in the first year, we actually got pregnant, had a baby. So I had my baby, as well. So I still had a newborn or whatever. And also, I'm okay with me. So I was okay with spending time with me. I did a lot of things that whatever I felt like doing. If I felt like going to go get my nails done or whatever, I did things for me. And he had no issue with that. So, I just became consumed with myself sometimes. So when he said, okay, I'm going to go hang out, I'm going to do whatever. Okay, go hang out, but we also had a conversation before that on what it was going to look like when he hung out, what it would look like whenever I hung out. So we had that conversation already. So we already knew Okay, he's out doing whatever. I'm out doing whatever. We were okay. We were okay apart, and we were okay together.
Okay. Well, excuse me. How do you all navigate through, like when you've been together this long, if you've been together 7 years, 5 years, you know your partner and you know when something is off. Like, how do you handle that? Do you, Deborah, speak up? Do you, Duran, speak up? Or sometimes people wait until something is going on and then they'll wait for the person to come to them. Do you just go head up or you just wait till either one of you come to each other if you feel something is off?
We've learned to check in with each other.
Okay.
Prior, like I said, therapy was probably the best thing that happened to us. And I think we did that year 15 or something like that.
Yeah.
And
is that the first time y'all did therapy, year 15?
Yeah.
Year 15.
And prior to that, it was like a powder keg. It was just like, it would be something big. It would be something small that would turn into something big. It was like, yo, you want to go to the store? Fuck you mean I want to go? We just start going off on each other, for nothing. It's like, where'd that come from? Whatever. But I mean, and I tell people, if you're gonna go to therapy, you got to be willing to put in the work. Because if I'm gonna keep it real with you, the first few therapy sessions, we walked out of there more pissed off than we walked in. I think one of them, I literally was like, "Fuck this, we getting fuck this. I ain't got to do this." And I thought we was getting divorced because it got so real. But we just kept putting in the work. So I mean, as far as that helped us navigate and learn to give that check in ever so often, like, yo, you good? Everything all right with you? What's on your mind? You looking a little strange over there. You all right?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What brought y'all to therapy? Because I have to be like make or break.
We thought we were getting ready to get divorced, and that was the last. That was the last. It was like, look, if this don't work, it's been real.
Oh, wow. Well, did you ever feel like that was never an option, or it just got to the point where you like it's just better to just be apart?
No, well, okay. So at year 10, we had a conversation in jest, but it was somewhat serious. But it's like, yo, we in this thing double digits now. So, sit your ass down. You be over there. I'm be over here. We're going to figure it out.
Because the insurance, because, hey, if after 10, I am eligible for some things.
Right. Right, check.
I made it. So you can go out there and do what you want to do, sir. We can talk about it.
Whatever. So,
I'm very well aware. I got you. Go ahead. I'm sorry, my bad.
You had a flashback. It's okay.
Look, this ain't about me. It's about y'all. 30 years. I love it.
But so we had that conversation just now. Moving forward, I mean, things change. People evolve. So it became, because of that whole mind reading thing, not checking in, letting things blow up, that little things become big things.
Right.
It just got to a point where it was constant, like, friction. And it was like, where's this coming from, man? So we had talked about possibly, getting a divorce, and she had bought therapy to me before.
Okay.
I'd always shot it down. I was like, I ain't going to no damn therapist. I like, whatever. So I don't know what made me say, okay, this time. But when she brought it up, I was like, this is it. Go to therapy. This don't work. It's been real. And we were in therapy for a year. And
it was many times when we drove different cars. Because afterwards it would be so deep to where we like, okay, you know what? I need some time apart so I can get this together. Process what just happened in these 50 minutes. Because many times those 50 minutes, they were power packed. So
look, the first time we went to therapy, we drove in the same car. We didn't drive in the same car again for like 2 months.
Yeah, there was no more driving in the same car.
Wasn't gonna be no
No.
driving the same car,
No.
'cause I ain't got shit to say to you. I don't
Yeah.
even want to be next to
We
you right
didn't.
now.
We didn't want to talk afterwards. We had to process for a few days before we actually had the conversation about what happened in therapy. So therapy helped us a lot.
I have another question, and it's from my own personal experience. What helped you continue to go? Because it's like when you go to therapy, right? It can be the anxiety and the anticipation of knowing it's gonna be something. You know what I mean? It's like we gonna get into it real bad in here. So what made you, because it can get to the point where you're like, I don't even want to go because today I just don't feel like being emotionally exhausted.
Right.
What made you guys continue to push through and go to your sessions?
Well, first, let me answer this question down here on the screen. I think that varies from relationship to relationship. I mean, if I would say initially, maybe a year, right?
Okay.
Initially.
So go annually.
It asks about without any major how often do you recommend therapy, annually, quarterly, etc. And I think that varies from relationships. I say ours was it was a year, but it wasn't like a year every week. See, we started off going every week. As we got better, he scaled back to every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Right. And then it was like, like once a month.
Yeah, it was
and
once
then,
a month. Like
then at the end of the year, at the end of that 1 year, he was like, man, you know what? I've never been so happy to tell somebody I don't need to see y'all no more. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you this. Have y'all had moments like that was year 15?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for the next 15, 16 years, have y'all ever talked about going back to counseling therapy?
I mean, talked about it, haven't done it. And don't get me wrong, it's not the be all end all, it's not the cure all. It gives you tools to work with, because every now and then you still drop those tools, and you still, you still gonna. We're human, right? So you're still gonna point that finger. You're still gonna use those you and I statements.
Okay.
But always and never and stuff like that, which things they tell you not to do.
What? Don't say always.
Yeah,
like you always.
When you're in a disagreement, say you always do, or you don't never do this, or you don't do that.
Oh, well, that's good to know, because let me put that on in my pocket.
Yeah, it's good.
So what made y'all continue to go to therapy and finish?
I'm gonna tell you really, really, Ebony, what made us, because we had a good therapist. There were, like I said, for the first 4 or 5 sessions, we walked out of, I want to say it was session 4 or 5. I was like, man, fuck this, I ain't coming back. And the therapist was real cool. He was like, I hear what you're saying. I really wish you would come back, but if you don't, I understand. And he just left it there, right? Subconsciously giving you something to think about. And maybe, I want to say, because there's a cooling down period. Maybe like our therapy sessions were on Mondays. We would go Tuesday, Wednesday, usually about Thursday or Friday. I'd be like, we going this Monday. You know what I'm
Thursday
saying?
or Friday?
Yeah, because
that's the whole week.
Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm still like, fuck this.
We still fuming. We still fuming because we still processing.
Yeah.
After Monday's session, you still have Tuesday, Wednesday to still process.
Tuesday and Wednesday, we're still walking around the house, and if I ain't gotta say nothing to you, I'm not. Thursday was the ice breaking day. Usually Thursday or Friday was the ice breaking day. Like, okay, so then we start talking about what was talked about in the session. How did you make you feel, blah blah blah, and stuff. And then you actually start trying to put some of those things in the action, like not telling her what she always does, her telling me I don't never do stuff, and we start trying to work that. After about, say, like a month and a half, 2 months, it was just a part of the routine. And it was like, yo, we going on Monday.
He also gave us homework. So he gave us homework, made us work.
Which we wouldn't do until about Thursday or Friday, because we wasn't in the mental space to do it.
So he kept us working in the process. So he didn't just, the first 2 months, it was a lot of developing. Okay, this is what we got to do. This is what we got to realize, what we're going in this relationship. And then, you know, those walls had to be broke down. And then by the time we got to, you know, month 2 and 3, we're like, okay, now we'll do the work, because it
Okay.
took us 2 months to get there.
Okay. Because it was
Your
just so
therapist
much.
black?
Huh?
You had a black therapist?
No, he was a white. He was a white
He's
guy.
a white guy.
He was a
Oh,
white guy,
wow.
and he
So-
turned out to be very. I liked him, right?
Right.
Because he got on her one time, and I was like, "Thank you," because I felt like I was the one getting jumped on. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So whatever the reason was, it took y'all like 2 months to really get down deep into it to get to the core. So once you get to the core, and you're not going every week, you're going maybe once a month at this point.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. So then when it's over, right? Do you have any, like, when Monday comes back up? Like, how was your first Monday? Do you feel like, can we do this? Do we,
Well-
are we okay?
I think what we did, didn't we start, because at that time I was off on either Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But didn't we start making Monday like a date night or something like that?
Yeah, we utilized that time so that we didn't have, you know, idle time, because we had utilized that time for
A year.
just going to therapy. So now we were like, okay, what do we do now? What's our next? And so we started utilizing that time. Okay, this is, since we already carved out this hour, you know, 2 hours, because, you know, travel, let's utilize this. And so we would go to movies, we, you know, go out to, you know, whatever it was that we wanted to
I
do,
like
we
that.
utilize that for us.
I like that, because I would feel like you would like feel like you're coming off of something, right? And you need to feel that. So that's good to know. Now, okay, let's fast forward. So you got your tools, you're 15, 16 years in, you got kids, you're working. How is your listening and how is your receiving? Like, do you listen to understand or do you listen to talk? Deborah.
Well, I am a talker, and I
Okay.
want to talk till I get it all out. And I'm gonna keep talking until you understand what I'm saying and how you comprehend what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is very important. And I want the world to know how I feel. Well, Deron is
Just said the world.
the world, not just me. The world is gonna know. I'm not gonna be yelling and cursing. I'm not that. That's not me.
She might.
But if I have to go there, I will. But and
Uh-oh. They froze a little bit. Y'all froze a little bit. Can y'all hear us?
it switches. Yeah, we can. now.
Okay. Okay. You're back.
It switches with us from time to time. It could be sometimes with Deron want to be the talking. He just talking, and you know he just won't shut up. You know we
fact that I don't
switch it
talk
out.
that much, that means it's time to listen.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I don't talk that much, when I decide I want to talk, it's time to listen.
Do you receive that, Deborah? Like, is that something that you respond to?
Not always.
Oh, okay.
Not always. No, not always. It depends
Okay.
on what it is, because it's also about when you come to me. You can't come to me any hour and decide, oh yeah, we're gonna have a serious conversation. Because if I'm not in that receiving mode, I can't accept what you're saying. So it's all about timing. And the same with him. If you know, I know him enough to where I'm like, okay, this is a good time. We can have that conversation. And then I have to ask him sometime, okay, I want to talk about this. Is this a good time? He say yes, he say no. If he say no, then a lot of times I'm gonna go and write it out, because I gotta get it out of me, because I'm a talker. So with me being a talker, I'm like, it's gotta come out some kind of way. It's either gonna come out loud or either I'm gonna write it out. So a lot of times I'll just sit and just write, just to get it out of me. And so when he's ready, okay, you know what? I'm ready. I have my books already. I've thought about it. And sometimes, a lot of times, I'll look back at it and be like, no, that's not even a conversation.
Okay, that was
I
gonna be
talked
my
about
next
to myself.
question. That was gonna be my next question, because sometimes it's like, you know what? I don't even have to get into that. We're good right now. And I got the answer. Okay, I was gonna ask you that. So Tammy had this question, I had it written down, but I didn't have it written down like she asked it. And it's a good question. As far as your love languages go, did you know what they were in the beginning? Did they change in the middle? And where are they today?
We did not have a love language when we first got married. We were okay with, okay, turn your back that way, I'm gonna turn my back this way. We still sleeping in bed together. And so we had to learn how to actually be a couple. because we got married so early on and so quickly.
So
We had to learn
young.
how to do these things, and it still evolves, because sometimes I'm, more of a hugger and, want to hold on to him, and he's like, okay, get away. And then there's sometimes he's the same way, where he wants to hug on me, and I'm like, no, it's not happening. So we have to, that's forever evolving. It really is. It's always evolving. We have to check in. That's a check in constant, because we have to see, okay, what do you need from me? What is it that's lacking? How we need to, rekindle, what we need to do, things like that.
So what is your love language, Duran?
We just took this test about a month or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Touch
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and words of affirmation were number 1 and 2 for me.
Okay.
And I forget what the other ones that fell behind it, but those were the 2 most important to me. I would say that love languages is something that we've always had, maybe not always been aware of,
Right.
maybe not used
Exactly.
that terminology. But that's what that was for me.
What about you, Deborah? Today, your love language today at 6:41 p.m.
I'm glad you were specific, because that's important.
Because what I have picked up on from both of you is that you have to be specific, because it is definitely a change any way the wind blows with y'all. So today at 6:41 p.m., what is your love language?
Mine is touch.
Okay.
That's my love language. Mm-hmm.
All right. I got a question, since we're talking about this, and each of you can answer. Now, we all know about Deborah, what is it that you need to do when you want something from Duran? What do you do, and how do you set the scene to get what you want from him?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
It
depends on what I want. It depends on what I want. So if it's something huge, it depends on the size. So I'm gonna go big, small, and medium.
Go big.
So
Yeah.
When I want something big, I'm gonna work on him for a week, and so I'm gonna be talking to him. I'm gonna be getting him ready. I'm gonna be preparing him, because I know it's all about mental with him. He likes to think about it. So the whole week I'm working on getting to that question, or getting to where I'm trying to be. And usually by maybe 6 or 7 days, he's like, okay, now what is it that you want? Because he realized that that's where I'm going.
What are you doing that leads up to, what are you doing? Are you like,
they want you to give
talking extra sweet to him? Are you, what are you doing? Just give me one.
I'm not talking extra sweet to him. I'm not doing that, because then that's my giveaway. If I'm a little too nice, then that's my giveaway.
Something, huh?
Yeah, I already. I know that I can't just come flat out if it's something big. I know that, okay, I got to communicate, and so I'm going to be communicating some different things. They're not hints. I'm just going to be communicating a little bit different. Okay. I'm not going to be doing no extra cooking, because I do that. I'm not going to be giving extra affection, because I do that. It's all of that. It's all about that communication, how I'm trying to lead up to where I'm going. So that's when I'm trying to communicate, so that when I get to the end, I can just blab it out. Just what I want.
This is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about in the beginning when I said, like, telepathy. Are you reading each other's mind? So you clearly have a system. That's what I'm saying.
Let's be clear, though.
Okay.
Deborah don't ask for a lot of big shit.
Okay.
Right? That's one of the things I said, that she's pretty much messed it up for somebody coming behind her, because it's been times that I wanted.
Child, it'll be 31 years next week. Ain't nobody coming. I'm sorry, because it's gonna be some big stuff you gonna have to buy.
Whatever, but what's called it? She it's been some things I wanted to do for her that were kind of big. She's like, I don't need all that. I don't need all that. And I don't want to say she's simple, but I mean, I don't want to make it seem like she's easy to please, but she doesn't ask for a lot. So when she does ask me for something, I'm like, yeah, bet, no problem. Like,
I love that.
The shit, like her first wed, like you see all these people getting married and divorced. They spent 10, 20, $25,000 on the wedding ring, right? They get divorced.
Yeah.
Man, her first wedding ring, we could have crumpled that up and made like paper planes and shit out of that first wedding ring. It was so cheap. You know what I'm saying? But she was
$500 for the set, for my set, for my set,
you understand?
and his ring as well.
For the
$500, yeah.
And you know, and so it was all I could do when I upgraded her ring. I was like, shit, I like, you work for this. You earned this. You know what I'm
But
saying?
one thing that he used to do that I didn't, I didn't say no to it either. I wasn't a big fan of. After our 10th year, Deron used to get me a ring every year, whether it was big, small, whatever. But he would go get me a ring every year, and I was like, I don't need all of that. I just, I didn't need all of that. But that was his way of, you know what, you took that $500 ring and were fine with it.
I was just trying to find something that was worthy.
And
that's sweet.
We worked.
And how do you get what you want out of Deborah?
Don't ask Deborah for
nothing. Okay, Deborah, what does he do? Tell us what he does.
What he usually do is he's gonna talk about it.
I just talk.
He doesn't hold it back and do like I do, kind of take the long route.
This is what I want. This is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, that's his thing. This is he just let it all out.
Yeah.
Well, since you have like a go around the Mulberry bush kind of tactic, and he's a right up on it kind of tactic, and you said that you say things to him to take like a week to, work on it. What do you do when he comes straight to you with it? Like, do you need a process time, or are you just like, okay, honey, it's whatever?
No, I have to process it.
Okay.
Because I'm always looking at how is this going to affect the family? How is this going to affect us? What is it going to do to the finances? How, because Deron is the type of, you know what, I want it. I'm going to go get it.
Let's be clear. I'm the finance degree. I'm the MBA, right?
Okay.
I have a very good grasp of money, and saving and investing. I do that. That's my thing. However, when I see something I want, my mind goes into how am I going to make this work and go get it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But because if I want it bad enough, no ain't an option.
Okay.
So it's like, how am I going to make this work?
Okay. Do you always when you get in that mode, do you always consult her first, or have there been times you just gone out there and then,
okay,
hey
so
babe, look what I got?
I did that once, right?
Just came home with it
when we first got married, right?
Oh Lord!
So look, all you bringing up anxiety. Now y'all starting to argue.
Oh, I have anxiety. I have anxiety.
When we first got married, again, I'm used to being by myself, right? I ain't used to asking nobody nothing.
Right. So, I get it.
I'm still young. Sega Genesis is what's popping. Me and my boys, we doing this on the boat. We playing on the boat, right? So I'm at the ship was being commissioned. My mother's out there. Me, my mother, and Deborah at the mall. I just say, I'll be right back. The next time they see me, I got this bag. And Deborah was like, what is that? And I was like, I bought a game. And she's like, how much did that cost? And I'm immediately catching attitude, like, what you questioning me for? Not knowing, like this is what married people do, right? But yeah, that's the only time that's happened, because I kind of, rewired my thinking real quick.
Have you ever popped up with something, Deborah?
Have I?
I'm pretty sure you have. I just can't think of it right now.
So the answer is no. The answer is no. If he doesn't remember, then the answer is no. You got to go with that. And then we're going to quickly get off this subject just in case he remembers.
Right.
So,
if I remember, we'll double back.
Let me ask you this, because it's like friendship. You got to have a foundation for a relationship. Some people date for a long period of time. Y'all met, you got married. So with falling in love, you became friends. Like, are y'all just best friends today? Because I know sometimes you get upset and things like that, but that helps you to come back. So how are you all on that? Do you like each other often? Is
Okay.
it something that goes on like, I
So
don't like you today, but
so that
okay.
2 years in San Diego is the reason why we're together today,
Okay.
because we didn't have people in our business. And I tell, like, people talk to us all the time, and I tell them, I'm like, the number one thing in a relationship, you need to keep people out your business.
Mm-hmm.
We were in San Diego, it was just me, it was just her. We had to lean on each other. So by the time we got back around family, it was real easy when
Yeah.
people were volunteering their ideas or whatever, like, no, I'm good, I got this, it's cool.
Right.
You know,
So y'all were really a unit. in your
Right,
Right.
we were a unit.
It, it,
Absolutely.
and early on, it would be nothing for us to circle the wagons and keep people out.
And I will agree with you on that, because although it took me a little longer than 3 days to get married like y'all did in 3 hours. It took me a little
Wow,
longer.
wow, that
But
was shade.
but I will say this. I
I
will
thought we
say
were friends.
the time that we were together in Japan, that was great, because like you said, you didn't have, you know, you only had one person that you could really depend on. So
Right.
I think that is really good. I think that you're right. If you keep people out of your relationship, you can really build something.
Now, don't get it twisted too, Deborah and I, because we have a lot of conversations about our relationship. There are a lot of things that we do in this marriage that if we were dating, we wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
Right.
We would have been like, man, look, it's been real. I'm gonna holler at you.
How hard is it? This is just a question. So when you have those moments and you have that friendly foundation, right? And you have those moments when you, maybe this is a little personal for me. You have those moments you're looking like, I don't even know who you are right now. Like, how do you get back to the point where he's familiar? You're like, okay, I'm back. Do you ever have moments like that?
One thing that I say all the time to myself, I don't always say it to him, and I've said it to other people. I believe that I don't like to waste my time. I'm very big on wasting my time. If I feel like you're wasting my time, then I'm done. I'm cutting you off. That's it. So early on, I had gotten in my head, is this going to waste my time? Because I can't get those 3 years back, 2 years back, 5 years back. I cannot get those years back. So my attitude became then, either I'm going to jog on the treadmill with him, or either I'm going to get off.
Okay.
So either we're going to go down this same path together, or that's it. And so I said, okay, there's going to be a lot of things that I'm not going to like about him, and vice versa. And so once I kind of got that in my head, that I don't always like you, I don't like how you do whatever, and I don't like, but is it enough to say, okay, you know what, that's it. That's it. I'm done with this. You done did 3 things I don't like, those 10 things I don't like. I'm done.
But
That
you have
wasn't
love though, right?
absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah,
but you
you
know
have.
what? But it's I don't think it's love in a traditional sense though, because we don't. Well, I think I'm speaking for us. Let me know if I'm not.
I'll let you know.
But we don't look at love as, like, most people look at love as those goofy ass butterflies and, oh, you make me feel this, that, and what.
Fairy tale love.
Love for us is a choice. Like, there are times I've told her, I'll be like, you know what? I don't even like your ass today, but
Right.
I love you. I choose to love you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just look at it like that. It's not, there's love there, but it's not about the emotion. It's about the thoughtfulness.
Also, one thing I'll come back with is he and I were friends. Those 2 years were very important. We were friends. We still are friends.
Okay.
So, when things kind of get crazy, whatever, I'll talk to him as he my friend, not, oh, that's my husband. I'm
Okay.
talking to him as my friend.
Okay. Do you point that out, or do you just?
No, she
Or
just
is it-
started talking.
Nope, I
Oh.
just talked to him. He knows that conversation, that this is not, this is, you're not talking, or sometimes I've said it too, you're not talking to me as my husband. Let's talk, let's hash it out. We come to each other a certain way where we know, no, it's not about husband and wife thing. This is about as a friendship.
Okay. I really feel like y'all are I love the honesty, right? Like, or the bluntness. I'll say that because I know that can hurt people's feelings, but it's honest, and y'all got tools to come back from things like that, right?
Yeah.
So, what is one of the sweetest things Deron has ever done for you?
It's something. It's something so simple. It's a few things that he does for me that I like,
Okay.
and one of the biggest things is actually wearing cologne.
Okay.
Yeah, I like him to wear cologne.
I try not to stink,
He
tends
said
to
it all the
offend
time,
people.
but I like him wearing cologne. I like one thing that he used to do is I had a bear in my home. He would spray it on the bear, or
Oh,
sometimes he'll spray it in the air because he know I love that cologne. I
okay.
love his cologne. So those, little things like that. It's the one of the things I mentioned is he has a habit of always making sure that he walks on the outside of me
Yes, that's
and
important.
making sure that I feel protected in that moment.
I
So
understand
that
that.
to me is important to me. It's like I said, it's the small things. It's not the huge things. I'm not big on huge things. He can do a gesture, and I'm like, okay, all right, thank you. But it's those small things that may seem minute, but they were huge to me. The reason why I like the cologne as much is because when Deron was in the Navy, he used to be gone a lot. He would be gone two,
Mm,
3 weeks at a time.
yeah.
And all I have, I think I was pregnant up when the first time we went out,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my
I've
God,
been
I'm
there.
by myself.
Right.
Got this baby, and so one thing he would do is, okay, he got me a bear, and he would spray the cologne on the bear. So that's
Oh,
something
that
that I
is
always go
so
back to, so that I
sweet.
can always smell it. So when I'm missing him, I can get the bear.
Oh my God. So Deron, same question for you about Deborah. What's just like the sweetest thing she's ever done for you? Like, to just like look at her, I love you. What is that?
Shut up.
What? What is
I
happening
didn't
right
like
now?
how he was looking at me.
Man, you know what? I mean, like I said earlier, I got lucky with this one, right?
Uh-huh.
So as far as I don't think there's any one particular thing she does. We have an awesome support system,
Okay.
right? Like I'll support her. I'll support whatever she does. I told her I'll support whatever you do. You could say I'm running for president. You just can't quit.
Okay.
So it's like, and so like I have an MBA because of her, right?
Mm,
She
that's awesome.
she got her master's, and I was so proud of her. It was like one of my kids had walked across the stage, and that lit a fire in me. And when I decided that I was going back to my MBA, I had people, because I was working another job at the time. I had people like, "What you doing that for?" Whatever. And when I told her, I said, "I'm gonna go get my MBA," she said, "It's about time."
Oh,
And it's just the support, because a lot of guys take it for granted, but a lot of guys, a lot of ladies, they don't have the support system that we have for each other.
right. Right. And that's so important because you should always feel like the person you're with has your back, regardless of whatever if you ask for whatever. Ebony, do you have anything?
I do. I have
I know you do.
one
I
more.
got something for you too, Ebony. I'm gonna shock you with it too. But this after all this is over with official.
You're my guy. You're my guy. So we talked about great things, communication. We've talked about the emotional aspect, support, how to make sure you keep people out your marriage, make sure that you're friends. I would like for you guys after 30 years to touch on how do you keep it spicy in the most PG way you can. Because 30 years is a long
Please,
time,
please
honey.
keep it PG. Please keep it PG. I do
It's a
not want my
long
channel shut down.
time. You gotta
Yes.
get you gotta get the buns, you gotta get the eggplant. How do you keep it spicy for going on 31 years of marriage? Tell the people.
That's a long time. That's a long time.
I'm listening to you.
Okay, the PG version is that we watch
Yes.
a lot
Please.
of Ready to Love, Seeking Sister Husband, Brother, whatever them shows are that you be reviewing, we watch it out of those.
Okay.
No, but seriously speaking, I mean, things that you did in the beginning, you have to do 30, 31 years later. So if she wants to go, if she doesn't feel like going out, that's fine. But when she does feel like going out and she lets you know that, get your ass up and find somewhere for her to be. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I
So,
love that.
you know,
Mhm.
and so it's real simple. A lot of guys be like, well, you don't normally like to do X, Y, Z. Okay, that's
No
fine.
matter.
But when she does decide that she want to do it, get your ass up and make it happen.
So, Deborah, we're gonna ask you that same question.
Yeah,
And
that's
because
PG version, though.
The PG version.
That's the PG version. Okay, let me say this. A lot of people think that because you've been together for so many years, it's the same twat, and it's the same pickle. But it's actually not. It's not. That thing go through some stages. You go through stages. You may be hot flashing, you may be whatever it is, but that
I'm
thing
with
is
it.
going through some changes. And and we, at the very beginning, we was hot.
Rabbits.
We two rabbits going.
Rabbits.
Well, now that I'm now the 50, this crazy number, I now have to look at, okay, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna jump off the ceiling. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not learning any of those things. This is it. This is what you got. What you got. This is it.
He's the clutch to crawl.
I even do that.
Deborah said, "This is it. This is
This
Michael
is it.
Jackson. I'm done. Let's
This is
go."
it. So with me knowing this is it, okay, you know what? Like I said, it's different. Even
Right.
that, even his touch is different to me now than it was 30 years ago.
Okay.
His, now
Is that a
he
good
may be talking in
thing?
my ear a little bit more. I like that. It's those
Okay.
it's those things that I learned to like, and he does those things. That's what keeps me like, okay, all right, come on, here we go.
Not come on. Come on. Is that what we
Come on,
said after 30
let's go.
years? Come on.
Come
Okay,
on.
Deborah.
I know that's
Okay.
right.
I don't even know who this woman is right here.
You know who
I
she
know
is.
that's
You've been
right.
with her for 30 years. You
But
know
it's
exactly who
not
that
the
woman
same.
is.
I love it.
I
Oh,
love
I
that.
love it.
Oh, we getting ready to wrap. Does anybody in the chat have any questions before we wrap it up? Because this has really been this has been a different conversation, right? And it feels different. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. I respect you all's situation. I respect your marriage. And just watching you all talk and go back and forth, you can see it. You can see 30 years. You can see you get on my nerves, but I love you. You can see it. And that's beautiful. It's Black love. It's beautiful. If you could give the World Wide Web any advice, what would it be? I'm going to ask Deron first, and then Deborah, I want you to answer the question next. For men, you're talking to men, Deron.
Okay, well, let me give you this $1 million worth of game for free.
Oh, okay.
I would just tell the fellas to learn to communicate. Let's stop playing games, and let's learn to tell the women what we want, what we expect, so that they know exactly who they're getting in a relationship with. Because at this stage of the game, late 30s, 40s, 50s, 50 years old, it's time out for the representatives. It's time out for the representatives. People need to know who the hell you are from jump.
Okay. Those
Great
representatives, Ebony, you remember that? We talked
Yeah.
about that the first episode.
Yeah.
We talked
Great
about
advice.
that.
Great advice.
Okay. Deborah, same question.
My
To us. You're talking to us.
Okay, talking to you all. I would say either you're gonna stay on the treadmill or either you're gonna get off. I don't
Okay.
have time to waste, and I'm not gonna allow anybody to waste my time. So even if it's at year 29, year 30, okay, if I see that this is not going anywhere, I'm letting it go, and I'm okay with letting it go. You have to be okay with, okay, I'm gonna let it go, or either let go of that argument, let go of that relationship, let go of whatever it is, and either move forward or either you're gonna say, you know what, that's it, I'm done.
Not afraid to walk away.
We
Not
got
afraid
that
to walk
from
away.
Dr. Vandy, right?
And that ties into valuing yourself, self-worth and self-value, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we got that from Dr. Vandy. She's newly engaged from last week, and she pretty much was along those lines. Wouldn't you agree, Ebony?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have anything, Ebony, before we go?
No, it was so nice speaking with you guys. You guys were very open and vulnerable and honest. It was very refreshing to see that you guys went to therapy, you worked on your marriage, you were committed to your marriage, because so many people want the wedding. They don't want the marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
It shows how I love to see that you guys were committed to one another, committed to your marriage, and you also kept the outside noise out of your marriage as well. So kudos to you guys. I hope next week, 31 anniversary, is super spicy.
I know. Happy early anniversary, guys.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Super spicy.
I know.
Okay,
You might have to get back on the ceiling fan for this one, sis.
No, we
what
good
you
on
got,
the fan.
What you got?
We good.
What'd you say, Ebony?
You got right.
What I tell you, it don't change. It don't change.
Yo, hey Ebony, I got something for you before we go.
Okay.
You from New York, right?
Yes.
And you live in Atlanta now, right?
Yes.
What football team you root for?
I'm rooting for the Falcons.
Why? New York ain't got a team?
Because I've been here over 10 years and that's my team. I'm not a bandwagon fan. I've been a fan. They disappointed me in the Super Bowl so bad, but I stuck with them.
I live in Dallas now, but I'm from Chicago. I ain't switching to as long as the Cowboys ain't playing the Bears, we good. I can give them a cheer.
Okay.
But I heard you say that on one of the other ones, and I was like, you from New York? How you rooting for Atlanta?
And it's funny you mentioned you're a Dallas fan. You're not a Dallas fan.
I'm a Bears fan.
Dallas because my dad from New York was a Dallas Cowboy fan, and watching football with him is how I come to enjoy football.
Okay, all right.
That's good.
All right. So.
Well, y'all, we're going to get ready to get out of here, and I just want to thank Deborah and Deron for just being here, sharing your story, giving a wealth of advice and information. And like I said, congratulations to you two, because we don't see this a lot anymore, right? Yeah. We just don't. It's not something that's common today like it was a long time ago. And just Black love and y'all thugging it out. I love that for y'all. So I appreciate you all being here. Chat, thank you all for being here. Ebony, thank you again. And we're out, y'all.
All right.
Y'all sit back. I'll be back.
Y'all stay on.
Bye, y'all.
All right now.